How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? So, in on April 2023, feels like it's a long time ago now. I made a video and I made a prediction that the coalition government in South Africa, if it gets to that in the coming election, which was coming for 2024, as we were thinking and talking about the coming election, which was going to happen in 2024, and the possibility that the ANC or the African National Congress was going to lose power this time around. And we're talking about what are the options for South Africa. I made a video and I predicted that the coalition government that is likely to be formed will not save South Africa. And not to say that I'm a prophet or anything, but I was right. I was right mostly because my prediction was based on historical data that we have seen in nations that have had coalition governments, like nations in Europe. I did predict that all that the coalition government will be, if there's a coalition government, it will just be a purely administrative state that's just going to pay public sector worker salaries and just do that, and that's it. And maybe also to add that they're going to be we are not corrupt government. That's all that's going to be. That there's nothing else that they are going to do for South Africa. And my prediction has been found to be 100% accurate. It's now a year after the government was formed in South Africa, the Government of National Unity, which was formed by the African National Congress with 5 to 10 other parties, including the Democratic Alliance, the Inkatha Freedom Party, other smaller parties like the UDM. And there is nothing that they have done in the past year. Nothing at all. Nothing in regards to passing legislation that's going to retard the decline of South Africa, create jobs, grow the economy, and actually bring some tangible growth that is needed in our country. And that's not surprising, as I had said, that coalitions of this nature aren't likely to achieve anything because parties who form coalitions of this nature, parties who don't agree on anything, are not likely to do anything, to achieve anything. And I did say that coalition governments that are likely to succeed are a coalition government where it is a broad coalition of like-minded people, whether it is a conservative party forming a coalition with a far-right party, or it is a liberal party forming a coalition with a far-left party. Because in that instance, that even though not everyone in that coalition government will be happy with the laws that will be passed, because some of the people, especially the ones who are in the far extremes, won't be happy that the laws are going far enough. But at the very least, they will be happy with the direction in which those laws are being passed. So they'll rather take a half full cup than not get anything at all. Therefore, those coalition governments are more likely to get things done when you have people who are, broadly speaking, are of the same mind. But a coalition government of people who agree on virtually nothing, as it is the case with the coalition that is in South Africa right now, that coalition is first and foremost unstable, and secondly, that coalition is unlikely to accomplish anything. And as we've seen, if you've been following the news in the past year, there's been several instances where there have been strong policy disagreements between the coalition partners, strong policy disagreements that have come to a point or to the brink where the coalition government is being suspected of being on the verge of breaking down. That is the unstable nature of coalition governments when you have people who strongly disagree on issues. But not only that, even if that coalition government succeeds in terms of staying long term, it does not accomplish anything. And that is what has happened. That is what has happened. And I'm making this video especially to show my viewers or people who have recently been following me, to show that, you know what, my page might actually be a very small page, not large enough, but I do know what I'm talking about. A lot of the things that I talk about in my videos are actually based on data, factual basis, historical data, and I do try to make arguments that are actually based on sound arguments, which is why I wanted to make this video, to show that something that I predicted in 2023, I was in a different city then than where I am now. I predicted this, and I was very aggrieved and distressed by what was happening in my home country of South Africa, and I am even more distressed now. Things have gone from bad to worse. Well, I suppose now we are not having as much corruption in the national government as we used to. But as I've said repeatedly in the past, that corruption or lack of corruption is not the main criteria that I judge governments on. I judge governments primarily, first and foremost, on competence, on getting things done, on passing bills and laws that are actually going to change people's lives, get people out of poverty, produce jobs on a large scale, bring infrastructure development, infrastructure investment, laws that are actually intentional in changing and transforming our nation. And that is not something that has happened in the past year, because the nature of this government is not a government that is premised on doing anything. So I would also like to predict that if this government succeeds another 4 years going forward, they're not going to achieve anything. They're not going to achieve anything. I will probably go back and revisit this topic again in 2027, maybe 2028, if the Lord wills that I'm still around by His grace. I'll revisit, and it's likely that the conclusion will still be the same, that a government that has gone on for 4-5 years has still yet to do anything for the millions of South Africans who are unemployed, who are unemployable, and for the infrastructure that needs to be reinvested and to be rebuilt. They have not done anything still. Yeah. Till next time, folks. Have a good one.